Today's human review is by special request. Ethan is online, Nick is not green, and Lex updog. It was requested through several comments in previous human reviews and the community post. And if you have one that you would like to be reviewed, you can place it in the comment section or the community post. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, the majority of the reasons I believe that they want to have these people reviewed is over the super mega drama. And while I agree that they are shitty people because of the super mega drama, there are so many other things that I've found and looked up and watched that justifies a full review. So while the super mega drama will be briefly talked about towards the end of the video, we're going to take the time and look at each individual person and why they suck individually before we get to the super mega drama. That way you have a better picture and larger picture of just how shitty these people are. The first one up is going to be Nick is not green, because of his particular part in the super mega conspiracy. The full Nick is not green. Now, the majority of his mistakes or grievances I have with him are often overlooked by the super mega drama. But we're going to talk about some of these because we are a fair human review channel. So we're going to talk about previous accounts of Nick is not green being a shitty person. First up that I want to talk about is the J-pop situation. It's looking like it took place just before the super mega drama, or during, or slightly after. I don't think it came after, because he's pretty much fucking dead on YouTube at this point. But in any case, here's the situation. He and Hassan Piker, everybody's favorite piece of shit, do these live streams together, right? So on one of these live streams, they find this J-pop group out of California. Now, I want to make sure that everybody knows that this J-pop group aren't actually J-pop. It's another word that means overseas in Japanese. And the Japanese people accept these groups because essentially they're just cosplaying as Japanese idol girls. So they'll do the whole act. They'll talk like them, and all the shit you would think that a J-pop idol would do, that's the shit that they do. Probably with less training and bullshit that goes along with it, but whatever the fuck. Anyway, they're not hurting nobody. They're just doing something that they've worked hard for, that they enjoy doing, and that they love to do, right? So what does Nick and Hassan do? They dog shit it. They dog shit the fuck out of it. They make it super political because it fits their fan base. That they are fully aware at this point in time that if they make fun of somebody or attack somebody, their fans will go after them relentlessly. And while generally speaking, it doesn't matter to me if you have 1 million subs, 2 million subs, whatever the fuck, and you attack another YouTuber or a public figure, they expect or should be expecting hate-filled comments and all that shit. That kind of goes along with it. But that's not to say that the content creator that goes after a bigger YouTuber or whatever the fuck is responsible for every single thing that their fan base does. That being said, Hassan Piker and nickisnotgreen and these other breadtubers, and just because it's breadtubers are listed as left wing, I'm considering people like the Quartering is fully within that category as well, despite the fact that he's super right wing, because both of these types of channels effectively do the exact same fucking things. They radicalize their fan base, and they are fully aware that their fan base will attack anything that they tell them to, despite the fact that the creator themselves are cowardice bullshitters. That's a topic for another day. Right now we're going to talk about how they and their fans bullied and harassed this three-piece girl troupe, claiming that they were appropriating Japanese culture, making fun of the way Japanese people talk, making fun of this, making fun of that, and that they should be kicked off and they shouldn't exist. Essentially, their fan base attacked these people so relentlessly that one of the girls broke down in tears, apologizing for doing nothing, by the way, after receiving the entire girl troupe receiving death threats, being doxxed, and everything else under the fucking sun, including threats of sexual assault by their fan base. They eventually had to break up the girl troupe and stop doing the thing that they have worked so hard for however many years that they took practicing, rehearsing, and doing all this shit. They broke up. Their band name was Sorbet, Sorbet. And I encourage anybody that sympathizes with these girls, if you are fucking inclined to, send them some love or something, because they didn't deserve what they got from these two jackasses. And we at Deadcore are a fair and balanced fucking review channel. That being said, they broke up. They can't do the thing that they liked anymore. They can't do this and they can't do that. And during the apology video for doing nothing except apparently pissing off and being smaller than Hassan Piker and nickisnotgreen, they proceeded to make fun of the apology video on top of that. Talking about how it's funny how she's not talking the same as when she was in the J-pop group. Well, no shit. She was playing a character when she was trying to do the thing that she was passionate about. And I love the continuity of you shouldn't attack women and doing shit because they're women when you fucking do it all goddamn time. Piece of shit. But essentially that's what happened with the J-pop group. They broke up because of these two assholes. And you could say if they was bigger, it shouldn't have been that big of a deal. Or whatever. But no, they were just a local group that they just stumbled upon. That was doing nothing to anybody but enjoying themselves. I can't stand fucking YouTubers and shit like that that are like, will hit down. They go down after people that are just starting off and don't know as much as they probably ought to, or They're not trying to be super famous or whatever. They're just random people that are just showing what they like to do or expressing something that they enjoy because you don't fucking like them, or you think that there's something, and you think because you got a shit ton of subscribers and a shit ton of views, or you got more money than somebody makes in a month, you're the definition of shit. But in any case, that was the one situation I wanted to talk about a little bit. The second one was and before we get to the second one, he started getting a little bit of pushback on fucking with these Japanese idol cosplayers. So he makes a slight apology, but he never actually apologizes for shit. He'll just say, oh, well, y'all shouldn't do this, while he laughs while they're doing it, trying to mitigate any backlash that he would get. Okay, next up. He made a video trying to promote a female content creator that he fucking enjoyed and that he was friends with, that was, I guess, accusing her ex-husband or current husband or whatever fuck it is now, Gus Johnson, of being abusive. Now, apparently Gus had receipts showing that no, he wasn't, or is not what she's saying. Not to mention the fact that during her video exposing Gus or whatever fuck was monetized and sponsored. Certain videos you shouldn't do that to if you're trying to be serious about a serious topic and you are being from a personal viewpoint of what's going on with you. Why the fuck is it sponsored and shit? It's just for views. And he goes on and he makes this fucking thing. And he goes, well, she didn't actually... Because people were striking out against her because it's obviously bullshit after Gus came out with the receipts and phone calls and text messages and all that other bullshit that goes along with that kind of shit. Which really, if what you're doing is trying to blackmail your ex or whatever, saying that he abused you and all this stuff, and unless he does this for you, then I automatically don't believe a fucking thing that you're saying. But in any case, Gus had receipts. He proved it was all bullshit. The fact that her video doesn't make half as much sense as she wants it to make, and it's sponsored and monetized, and it was primarily to get views and disparage Gus. He makes a video trying to defend her because everybody was going after her because she's a fucking liar. Talking about, well, she never actually said his name. Despite the fact before he even made the video, she pretty much confirmed it 6 hours later on Twitter who it was. Liked all the hateful comments that was going to Gus and all this other shit. And trying to gaslight his fan base into believing her because that's his friend. And he believes his friends. That'll come up later. But in any case, that was that situation. It's not really the whole situation. There's more to it than that. But the point of this situation was the fact that what he likes to do is defend his friends, even if he knows for a fact they're lying out of their ass, and then never takes accountability for the fact that he's full of shit. He never once apologized for doing this either. He just went into the comment section and try to gaslit his fucking fans and critics for defending her. But in any case, go on to the next one. He goes on with his girlfriend to do another live stream, much like the Hassan Piker incident with the J-pop group, where he's looking at couples TikToks. Now, the only reason I can expect him to be going on to couples TikToks and making fun of is to make fun of them, because they are not as big as he is in his mind, so he can punch down like he likes to do. Not to mention the fact that he was trying to get all his fans and everybody to mass report Sneeko, which Sneeko's a piece of shit too, and I would not give two shits if he got kicked off of YouTube, which I think he did for a little while, or he still is. I don't know. I don't give a shit. He's a jackass, and he does whatever the next person that wants to be his daddy says. Fuck Sneeko. But the fact that you're trying to mass report another YouTuber because you disagree with them, or you're mad at them because they did something to one of your friends, which he did, by the way. He did do that shit to Chad, and I think it's fucking wrong. He should have got his ass beat for it. But it goes on because mass reporting another channel because you dislike them and you want to do it and get all your fans and shit to do it. That's why I said earlier, typically, the creator is not responsible for the fans, but he actively encourages his fans and shit to do this kind of bullshit. He even walked you through the steps on how to mass report people, but doesn't think he should be banned from fucking YouTube. But in any case, he goes on to these TikToks and he finds something called Love Surge. And while watching it, he just dogs the fuck out of him, even if his girlfriend tries to defend the couple on the fucking thing. Like, hey, it's just a couple enjoying each other. They're not hurting nobody. Yeah, but it's so cringe. It's so cringe. Blah, 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 blah. Look how stupid it is. And all this other shit. And he goes on there and he incites his fans like he always fucking does, because he can't fight his own fucking battles. He does all this shit. And then he finds a video of one of the couples, the wife of the relationship or whatever, crying about all the hate comments and death threats and threats of sexual assault, which is why he tried to ban Sneeko. But it's perfectly okay if his fans and he does it. What a piece of shit. I'm gonna play that video for you to the best of my ability, because people like nickisnotgreen, ethanisonline, and Lex Updog like to go to the Susie Lou remedy of trying to knock off criticism. They like to copyright claim videos with them in it and try to get shit taken down because it doesn't make them look good. Which, really, what fuck could? But in any case, we're going to play that video right now, and then we'll talk a little bit more.
Says,
I didn't expect,
but it doesn't end well. She seems really like, I can't believe the top comment. I like read the top comment was. I think if I saw people reacting this way to something I made, I would probably in the first hour take it down. Guys, for people who think that it's just Nick talking the whole time, yeah, it's my channel. She's just here to Let's see what she has to say about it. I've been interested to see what she had to say for a minute. Someone need Love Surge.
a lot of the duets and stitches were really funny and I laughed a lot. I can take a joke and I can laugh at myself. But then some of the comments got like, really, really mean. And they were like wishing that like someone cheated on each other, or wishing that like DV on me, or if the goal was to make me sad, you did it, you won. I'm not talking about the hilarious stitches or anything, I'm talking about like the really mean, hurtful comments. And yeah, so I think a lot of times people type something online and then they don't see the result of it. This is the result, and if you like doing this to people and keep doing it.
Oh, don't tell him that. Don't tell him that's how they do it.
Don't tell them to make people sad. That is what they want to do.
Dang
They know
it.
how.
I'm like commenting angrily that she fucked it up.
Tell them how. Fuck. They're gonna do it to me now.
If you don't, then maybe think about it and stop. And again, I'm not talking about like the silly jokes or the duets or stitches where people like add something valuable.
Who added something valuable? Nothing was valuable from the start of it. And I'm not saying like that her video is as bad as the awful comments. I'm just saying it's not like the video wasn't adding anything.
What a piece of shit. I can understand not wanting to fucking deal with PDA online. Nobody fucking made you watch it. The only reason you fucking watched that shit was to make fun of it and get your fan base to attack it. That's the only fucking reason you did it. And the fact that you can sit there and laugh at somebody crying after being threatened with sexual assault, death, and all kinds of other hateful bullshit just shows what a piece of shit you are. But let's go ahead and give Nick is Not Green a fucking score. Like we do on Deadcore, we give a 0 to 5 coffin scoring. 5 being a good person, 0 being dog shit. Let's take a wild guess and see what Nick gets. Nick gets 0 coffins out of 5. He's dog shit. He should just fucking leave. Nobody should be listening to his jackass bullshit. He's a liar. He's a fucking band junkie. He only attacks people that he perceives to be less than he is. Fuck him. Fuck his fucking YouTube channel. Alright. Let's go on to part number 2. Alright. The Shield, Lex Updog. There's not a whole lot to say about her by herself, because she is really not all that important. Why she pretends to be important, she isn't. She is just another useful pawn in the whole situation and contributor. A lot of her shit will come up later in the video when we talk about the super mega drama. But essentially, if you don't know who she is, which most people probably do not, is she draws, I guess, furry art or whatever fuck, from what I can tell. It's really childlike, like a 5-year-old could fucking draw her shit. So I believe the majority of her actual income before Super Mega got involved, or like other YouTubers that want to look like children shows or whatever the fuck, bought her artwork and shit, primarily makes her money by selling nudes and doing OnlyFans and all this other shit and streaming her artwork on Twitch. I don't have Twitch. I don't desire to have Twitch. I suppose at some point I'll probably have to get it to do even further research on these jackasses as they get kicked off of YouTube or whatever platform that they're on currently, because they always will and always do, sooner or later. But like I said, there's not much else to really say about her in particular, but it's what she represents. She's the female component and the shield to the entire super mega situation. Although the argument could be made that Nick is also partly a shield, but more or less he's just the fool that went along with it, because he doesn't have an original thought in his fucking head. But because of her parts in this whole fucking drama bullshit, and the fact that I personally believe that she lies about whatever the fuck she says, you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll talk about some of the super mega stuff, so some of the other shit will make sense later. Essentially, the only reason anybody knows who the fuck she is because she dated some guy named Don Doctor or whatever the fuck his name is for a couple years before actually meeting him in person and moving in at the super mega offices that they let her stay rent-free for months, even to a point that one of the guys who owned Supermega offered to pay 10 grand to rent her an apartment so she could move the fuck out of the office. Because evidently she would be ordering like takeout and food and shit, leaving it sit to rot, and then bitch and moan that the place is dirty all the fucking time. When you look at this bitch, she looks like you could smell just how nasty she is through the fucking screen. Why anybody is buying her nudes or watching her OnlyFans is beyond me. She is absolutely nothing special. She's run of the mill. But in any case, she gets down there and she lives rent free. Supposed to be doing some work, which I don't think we've ever even seen, but whatever the fuck. Eventually, she starts taking vacations and shit like that while still living rent free at Supermega headquarters. And starts bitching and moaning that she got robbed, which I don't believe, because pretty much everything that she's said so far has come out to be bullshit. But what really makes her a shitty person is that she went and got a hold of somebody who also claimed that who have dated Don Doctor or whatever the fuck his name is, and that he was really creepy and she should be careful and all that shit, and then ghosted her. And I assume she did that to get an idea whether or not her and Ethan's scam would actually fucking work. And we'll get to that. Because when that whole thing went down, when that ex tried to talk to her again about it and try to come out, she fucking blocked her and shit and like tried to like discredit her and like ignored her pretty much. But in any case, she makes up all this bullshit. I assume, like, even if you gave her the benefit of the doubt that Don Doctor did something to her, or what she says he did to her, even if you gave her that benefit of doubt, she still lived with the motherfucker, still dated the motherfucker for almost a year after the fact. Then tried to say somebody else tried to do something with her. I guess Jim from Supermega. They made out or whatever, and then he wanted to go into a closet. Why? Who the fuck knows? That's fucking stupid. But he wanted to go into the closet and do other things. And that he was super drunk and all this other shit. And she went ahead and she did it and followed him into the closet and shit like that. And she's saying, oh, it's because I was emotionally broken and all this other bull. I don't even believe that she suffered anything. Everything she says ends up being a fucking lie. But in any case, she does that and all that other bullshit. That don't even come out till later after she's found out to be a liar. But in any case, she goes on there and she makes these accusations and shit. But the focal point of her video and stuff is Supermega not coming out with it. Well, Supermega came out with all the receipts, including text messages, phone calls, actual fucking payment receipts, and all this shit, disproving every fucking thing she says, outside of whatever Don Doctor did, or did not do. Who fuck knows, because you can't fucking trust Lex. Lex is a fucking liar. You can't really trust anything she says. But in any case, not only did she request it not to be a big public thing, and that she wanted it to be handled quietly and all this shit, which they abided by. They even, at worst, the most Supermega did wrong that I can tell is they didn't fire this jackass fast enough. If he did what they said he did. Which previously stated, can't trust Lex Updog. She's a fucking liar. Everything she said's come out to be lies so far. So it's really only a matter of time before we find out that she was completely making up everything. And that's another thing that pisses me off about her. The fact that she went along with this fucking scam and this conspiracy and is probably lying about whatever happened with Don Doctor or whatever the fuck, and probably Jim, is the fact that when women come out and women or men, come out and they make these accusations that end up being false, or you come up with these accusations and you also lie about every fucking thing else, you make everybody who's ever actually gone through that shit look like liars like you. That's why a lot of people don't believe half of the shit that comes out of other people's mouths that actually had that happen to them. I don't believe it's happened to her. I don't. I think she's lying. But that's one of the other things that pisses me off about her. But in any case, she goes on a live stream with ethanisonline and they laugh and stuff, and they have a sub countdown thing on supermega's thing because their conspiracy is working. So we'll go ahead and we'll give her a score, because there's really not a whole lot to say about her other than that. Is that she's fucking full of shit. She's probably lying about every fucking thing that she's ever said. So we'll give her a score. Surprise, surprise, it's going to be a 0 coffin out of 5, because she's dog shit just like Nick is. Alright, let's go on to number 3. We're going to talk about ethanisonline, the coward, the manipulator, who the majority of which uses his channel to attack anybody that he disagrees with politically. And half of them don't even deal with politics. But he'll go around and he'll say that they're propagandists and trying to radicalize their fan base to be far-right extremists. Meanwhile, if you look at his shit, he does the exact same fucking thing, just on the other side of the fucking thing. Super far left, nonsense, bullshit artist. Half the time, if you look at him in his fucking videos with his dead fucking eyes, you can kind of get the feeling he doesn't even believe half of the shit that comes out of his mouth. But he goes on, and he does this shit, and like Nick, he will go attack people for their physical appearance, speech patterns, whatever the fuck. While if anybody does that to him, that's mean, that's cyberbullying, blah blah blah, because he's a little bitch. Now he also goes around and he accuses all conservatives, not even just the far right, just anybody who does not want to be a Democrat or far left or whatever the fuck, or believe in his bullshit, as pedophiles. He's also done this with the Catholic Church. He believes all Catholics are pedophiles, according to his fucking words. But that's not really new to half of these motherfuckers, because most of the people that are like in his little group of bread tubers and shit, they all copy the Hassan Piker Nepo baby tactics. Criticize me, I'll call you a homophobe, a transphobe, and every fucking thing else, even if it doesn't make any goddamn sense. That's his defense for every fucking thing. But that's not to say that's all he does. He's also goes on TikTok, just like fucking Nick, and go after people talking about the no-fap situation, where people are talking about porn addiction. And most of these people, they don't even seem to be trying to sell anything, even if they're being extreme in how they're trying to message it. What they are trying to get across is that they believe that porn is an addiction, and it's not healthy for you to be watching it 24/7. They're not, most of them, outside of a few of them, unlike the alpha male people, are trying to sell you anything. They are trying to illuminate a situation that they feel need to be illuminated. Now, they are not hurting anybody. They're not trying to make you do anything. They're not like the fucking vegan people that are trying to force you to eat grass or whatever the fuck. They are just stating their opinion, and they're hoping that if you are suffering from that they can help you, or you can see that you are not by yourself or whatever, just like any other fucking addiction. But he takes it as they're all losers and incels and they can't get women, and that's blah blah blah. Like, fuck you, dude. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All you're trying to do is trying to make everybody that agrees with the no-fat people that they're losers, that they deserve everything they got coming and stuff. And like Nick's fucking fan base, your fan base attacks them too, and you know it. Of course, from what I understand, a lot of your fan base is fucking disappearing, just like Nick's, because y'all are a bunch of fucking liars. And like I said, he defends a lot of these reaction channels because he has his own reaction channel where they don't actually fucking react to anything. Now, I am not a big fan on reaction channels on the whole, because a lot of times they add nothing to the content, but they take away views from the fucking originator of the content, because they'll show up in the fucking search button a lot faster than the original does. Now, there are some reaction channels that I don't mind all that much. It's like ones that are actually stop the video, talk about what's actually going on, give their opinions on it, what they think about it, if they think it's good or bad or whatever the fuck. To each their fucking own. But him, Hassan Piker, and a lot of these reaction channels, they just sit there and Hassan Piker, the Nepo baby, will fucking just turn something on and walk out of the fucking room. He'll be gone for hours, just let the fucking TV play. And you want to say that's good content. Right. But like I said, he's also claimed other YouTubers for far-right ideology so that his base will attack him. He calls everybody pedos if they're conservative or Catholic, even though studies say that majority of Catholics lean Democrat or independent. But regardless, he'll send his fan base after them. There's videos of him doing that shit. He goes after just about anybody that disagrees with him. He's just a jackass. And he's done so much shit that I cannot cover every fucking thing he's possibly done on this fucking platform. But he's went after Sensitive Society because Sensitive Society criticized Nick. It wasn't that he necessarily disagreed with what Sensitive Society was saying about fat people or whatever fuck. It was solely because Sensitive Society criticized Nick's channel. That was it. And that's going to become important later on. One of the biggest things that he's in trouble for right now, and I've heard a lot of people on YouTube say somebody ought to probably check his computer and search history, is that the guy, I forget his fucking name, but he's like in his 20s even though he looks 40. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Where he goes out, he's the guy that caught EDP trying to meet up with a kid. And he made a reaction video to that, like his reply to that video, where he tries to defend EDP and other pedophiles and trying to make this dude that's going out there and actually catching them. And yeah, he fucked up with EDP, but he's actually gotten better at it and started working with law enforcement. He's even got one teacher who molested a kid, 113 fucking years in jail out in Texas. So he's actually doing better and learned from his mistakes and is actually trying to do something good. What does fucking ethanisonline does? He tries to make him out to be a pedophile. He tries to defend pedophiles. Makes you really question where his fucking thought processes are, don't it? But like I said, that's the majority of his content. He goes after anybody that disagrees with him politically. Defends reaction channels because he has one that he monetizes and everything. And that's his bread and butter. Because if he ever actually had to get a real fucking job, he wouldn't be able to fucking handle it. But like, and I promise you, he does not believe in the bullshit that he puts out there. He doesn't. There's no fucking way. He's too fucking high. Every fucking video you see him with, you can tell he's just a fucking junkie. But he does all this shit because it makes him money. He figured out that if he panders to one side of this fucking argument about left, right, whatever the fuck, the left will support him no matter what. That's the only fucking reason he sprouts their bullshit. And I'm not talking about like if you're just a Democrat or whatever the fuck. I don't care that much. Most of Democrats are not fucking crazy lunatics. Just like most conservatives aren't crazy fucking lunatics. It's these motherfuckers like ethanisonline, Hassan Piker, and fucking the quartering that make everybody look like each side is fucking ridiculous. But that being said, there's a recurring pattern with Nick, this motherfucker Ethan, is that unlike Nick, Ethan doesn't apologize either. But he's more of a coward than Nick is. And I think he manipulates a lot more shit than Nick does because I think he's actually slightly more intelligent than Nick is. And now we're going to get to the main thing that everybody's pissed off at all three of these motherfuckers for, the super mega. Now, the super mega drama. And I'm not going to go into every fucking facet of it because I'm 90% sure half of y'all that requested this human review of these three fucking idiots already know probably more than I do at this point about it, because there are thousands of videos already about this shit. But I'm gonna touch on everything briefly and give you what I think's actually going on. So Lex accuses, no, we're gonna start a little bit before that because it's actually a little bit more complicated. This dude named Lathan, who was friends with Ethan, worked for Super Mega before Lex was even involved in this shit. And they all made homophobic jokes or whatever the fuck. But like I said, Super Mega had fucking text messages between everything. And they proved every fucking thing that they was saying. That not only was Lathan okay with all this shit, that it would be weird for them to stop making gay jokes because he fucking loved them. But that's not where it ends, because as it turns out, they were planning on firing Lathan or whatever the fuck his name is long before the super mega drama even unfurled. What had happened was apparently Lethan went out and ran his mouth saying that he was going to burn Super Mega to the ground while he was still working for them. So they brought him into a meeting and asked him about it. And he said, no, I would never do that. I love you guys, blah, blah, blah. So they go, okay, well, we're going to keep on. But they did not believe his stupid ass. So, in California, where they're based at, it's fire at will. So they could have fired him at any point, but they gave him a little bit of time and see how it went. Well, they decided they wasn't really happy with him, that he wasn't doing what they needed him to do, or they just got sick of his bullshit. I believe they cited mood swings. They couldn't deal with his fucking mood swings anymore. So they would be fully within their right to fire him, not give him jack shit, but instead they actually gave him like almost 3 months severance pay, which they did not have to do. But as soon as he got fired, Ethan and Lethan tried to start up that drama before this whole Lex shit to try to get Super Mega taken down. And it's purely out of spite. Keep that in mind. It's spite, and they wanted more money from him. So none of that shit actually worked because, like I said, the people at Super Mega had the screenshots of all their fucking conversations and all this shit. So it wasn't gonna fucking work. You roll around a little while longer, and then Lex pops into the situation. Now, from what I understand, Lex dated this fucking Don Doctor or whatever the fuck that worked for Super Mega. Probably got her a deal to work with Super Mega with him after a couple years of them dating online, having never actually met in person. And Lex stayed at the office rent-free for months. And this goes on until she's pretty much kicked the fuck out. Evidently, sometime before she got kicked out, and I believe after, it's kind of hard to tell with some of these videos of them firing Don Doctor for whatever the fuck he may have or may have not done to Lex. Because like I said, all these motherfuckers keep lying all the fucking time, and they keep getting proved that they're fucking liars, so I very much doubt anything actually happened. But anyway, she goes on vacations and stuff. She's supposed to be looking for a place to live if she's going to keep working for them or whatever the fuck. She doesn't. They even offered to pay her 10 grand to find a place to live. She didn't take it. Instead, she goes on vacation and then says that she's broke and then started like insinuating shit. Right? That is their fault that she's broke and ain't got nowhere to be. So it goes on, and eventually I guess she gets kicked the fuck out and she leaves, and then she comes back out and says they try to cover up Don Doctor assaulting me and shit. Well, like I said, they have all the evidence to prove that that's bullshit, but she goes on and she says like that in a 2-hour or plus video. Meanwhile, you got Nick, who's not her boyfriend, make a video supporting her fucking statements and shit, saying it's all true, blah blah blah. And while he's doing this, Ethan and her are smoking weed on a fucking live stream, watching Super Mega's sub count go down, laughing their asses off. Now you gonna sit there and tell me with a straight face this wasn't a fucking setup? So anyway, Nick does that. Then the proof comes out that she's full of shit. So she doubles down and says, Jim, another person that worked with her, did something to her and shit like that. And that story don't even make fucking sense. Apparently he was drunk, she was drinking probably. They were making out, and that was consensual according to her. And then he wants to go into the closet to do other things, and she didn't want to, but she went ahead and went into the closet any fucking way, and something happened, or blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I think she's full of shit, I think she's lying, and I think she's using that to try to attack Super Mega. So anyway, they're sitting there laughing their asses off and shit, and the Super Mega comes out slowly, which is their biggest fucking fault, because while they took their sweet ass time coming out and saying all this shit and proving that they are not what she's saying it is, other people came out, like some OnlyFans model or porn star or whatever that one of the guys slept with or whatever, came out and started running her mouth and doxed his girlfriend or whatever the fuck. They started bringing up their friend Daniel's suicide and how they made fun of it and all kinds of stuff, which turns out not to even be fucking true. So now if you go to their friend Daniel's YouTube shit, all their fucking radicalized fans have gone on there and started making fun of Daniel, who, by the way, is actually dead. And nobody has access to that account, and apparently all those comments will stay up as long as that account is up. So now these people who lost their friend, they can't even go to that YouTube channel or his Facebook or anything that's still left of him to look back at their friend without seeing all the hateful bullshit that these three motherfuckers sit that way, when none of them actually even met Daniel in person, knew him at all. Bunch of pieces of shit. But anyway, that goes on. Now it's proven that they're full of shit. Nick's sub count starts going down, his viewership starts going down, Ethan starts going down, all that shit's starting to happen. So Nick comes out and he apologizes half-heartedly, like not a real apology. It's just one of those fake ones that a bunch of these YouTubers who get caught doing stupid shit do to try to save their fucking channel, which is all it is. He comes out and now he's saying he was lied to and all this other shit. And you know what happened? I don't think I have to go that far into it. Ethan, on the other hand, is remaining quiet. He doesn't say shit about it, other than the fact, yes, it did happen, it did so happen. And then now he's fighting with Nick. They ain't friends no more. And now, because Nick is apparently pretty much done on YouTube, and it doesn't look like he's coming back any fucking time soon, Ethan, they go on with this shit. None of their fucking plans work. They even had to start bad-mouthing Lathan to try to get people to sympathize with Lex. And that's pretty much the entire fucking thing. Nobody believes them. They've been caught lying so fucking much in all their fucking previous content and all their previous bullshit, and then come out with this shit. And unfortunately for them, Ryan or Matt or whatever fucking two dudes' names that run Super Mega had all the evidence to prove them wrong. Even the fact that it wasn't even a cover-up, because Lex asked them not to fucking talk about it. She didn't want it to be public. But now that she's not working for them and she can't get any more money from them, now it has to come out. And she has to get all this other bullshit involved that had nothing to do with that situation, even if it fucking happened. That being said, this is my theory on what actually fucking happened. What I believe happened is that Ethan, being the super fan of Super Mega, couldn't get any work from them, couldn't get anything from them, and his friend got fired. That plan didn't work, trying to get them to fall because of that didn't work. So he thought that if a girl said something happened and it was something like that, because we've all seen the whole Me Too movement, whether it be true or not, like that guy who used to play Call of Duty or whatever, when somebody accused him of doing something and he offed himself, I'm pretty sure that's their idea of what would have happened. They probably wouldn't have offed themselves, but they probably would have been canceled is their whole mentality. That was their fucking plan. By using Lex as a fucking shield, that you could attack her because she's a woman and she may have been assaulted. That was the fucking plan to try to take down Super Mega now. But because Ethan is a fucking cowardice piece of shit, he got his friend Nick to back up the story instead of doing it him goddamn self. Now, it might just be me, might be old fashioned, but if I'm dating a girl and this situation was true and I was that pissed off about it, I'd make the goddamn video my goddamn self. And if my friend wants to join in, hell yeah. But Ethan, too much of a bitch, can't even stand up for his own woman. So what does that say about Ethan? But here's the thing. It's more than that, because now Ethan is online, has transferred herself. Now she's a female. Now she come out as trans. And I believe wholeheartedly that it's fictitious. I do not believe Ethan is online actually believes that he's a woman now. It is more likely that he changed his name, attempted to change his appearance because he's always looked like a bitch, to not only shield himself from the further criticism for the super mega bullshit, but for and including the defense of pedophiles on his channel, to change his name to Eden Riley. That's right. His name, if you lost it, forgot what it was now, Eden Riley. That's his new name on YouTube. He has a new channel, Eden Riley. And I think it's more or less a shield to protect himself from criticism if you find his channel and want to criticize him, and to pretty much disappear for a little bit while maintaining his diehard fans that stuck through him with his bullshit fucking scams. That way, all the hate people will go to his old channel and look up his old name instead of the new name, because they'll be looking for a dude named Ethan is online instead of a transgender Eden Riley, whose content is probably 99% the same bullshit that he's always been doing, just with a lesser view count. But we'll go ahead and we'll give Ethan a score, because I've neglected to do so before we get into the super mega bullshit. 0 coffins out of 5 for Ethan. So that's 0 coffins for Nick, 0 coffins for Lex, 0 coffins for Ethan. They're all pieces of shit who's got to bring up somebody's deceased friend who offed themselves to try to make a point, to try to gain sympathy. Gotta use the I'm a woman or you're trans or whatever the fuck as a shield against criticism, because you're full of shit. Your whole fucking group gets 0 coffins out of fucking 5. What a bunch of pieces of shit. And while I am against people being banned altogether from fucking YouTube, I don't blame people for wanting you to be fucking ripped from fucking YouTube. You deserve every fucking piece of criticism. All 3 of you motherfuckers deserve every bit of fucking criticism, every bit of hatred that you got coming your fucking way. I hope your fucking channels die. I hope you don't have any more viewers coming in. And I hope you actually have to go out and fucking work for a living. And I hope enough people in your fucking areas, wherever the fuck you live, has seen all this shit that you've been doing, and they blacklist your ass from working for them. Fuck the three of you. You can both go to hell. That is the end of this human review. But if you stuck around this long, I'm going to post it's 2 or 3 names of the victims that I've been able to find of these people's bullshit, outside of the ones that are bouncing back and are fine and didn't really get affected because they had all the receipts, like Supermega and other people defending them. Because throughout this whole fucking research period, looking into these stupid, dickless, weak-ass motherfuckers, I've noticed that a lot of the commentary channels that have covered all this in greater detail than I have never take a minute to express their wishes to have anybody who watches this video to go and send some support to these people that got attacked for no fucking reason by these 3 jackasses. So, if you come across Zorbit or the girl from the video, I'm gonna text their names and I'm gonna have it on screen for you to be able to look them up if you feel like it. But I would feel better if a couple of people that have actually watched this video all the way to the end or have read the description to go and take a minute and find one of these people and send them a like, give them a sub. That'd be fucking fantastic. You'd get a 5 coffin out of 5 for me. Anyway, y'all have a good one. We'll be back for a human review in a few days, maybe a week. Y'all take it easy.